Movie Explain Chanel here. Today, I am going to explain the United States horror and sci-fi film The Color Out of Space. So, let's start the movie Explain. A girl named Lavinia is shown at the start of the film. Who was performing a ritual at that time? She was repeating a line time and again. My mother may heal soon and we may go, leaving this region. Actually, Lavinia's mother was suffering from cancer. Suddenly, someone calls, Lavinia. When he turns back to check, then there is an unknown person comes to her. Lavinia tells him that it is a secret area and others are prohibited here. Then that boy tells his name, Ward. Then, Lavinia begins to leave from there. Then that boy named Ward gives her his visiting car while stopping her. After this, Lavinia returns to her house. Her father scolds her not using helmet as she returns to home. After this, Lavinia goes to poultry house where her brother was smoking. Seeing him, Lavinia gets furious and she leaves that place. Then she observes that her younger brother is standing near a well. He says when Lavinia goes to him that grandfather used to say that stars fall into this well. Then, Lavinia tells that it is a useless talk. Then she asks her brother, which thing have you come to take? Then that child says, my father has asked me to bring water from here. Lavinia says after hearing, oh my God, my father does not listen me. I have said him for many times that we should use mineral water. Nor the water of that well. Then that family is seen at the dining table. Their father had cooked duck for them today. Observing it, everyone gives the bad expressions. Because no one liked this dish. After this, Lavinia's mother is shown, who is stockbroker who was dealing with her customers at that time. After it, her husband calls him to take meal. At that time, Lavinia's mother was looking angry. She says that internet is not connecting properly. Kindly do something of it, otherwise, my customers will leave me. After this, Lavinia's younger brother is shown, who was looking at something, standing outside. All of a sudden, a pink light begins to shine. Seeing it, Lavinia's brother is frightened. He begins to shout. Hearing his voice, all rush outside. Then they find something like meteoroid after checking. And it was emitting pink light. There is also coming a very disgusting smell from there. After this, they bring Lavinia's brother inside. Now Lavinia's mother says to her husband, we should take him into the hospital, because he is not looking all right. Lavinia's father says after hearing it, he is only scared and the hospital is also at a distance from the house. I think that he needs for some rest. He will be all right if he takes rest. Next day, police officers arrive at their house, and Lavinia's father tells them about the last night event. He tells, this meteoroid was emitting the pink color yesterday. Now there is only smoke. The boy named has also reached here. And Lavinia introduces him with his father. Ward is hydrologist by profession. So police ask him that, have you any awareness about this? Ward says on it, it is perhaps a fallen star. After this, Lavinia's father shows Ward his animals. And he tells that they have started to be ill nowadays. Then, Ward asks, does someone else also live in this area? In fact, I want to examine the water of the whole region. I am going to stay here for a few days. Then Lavinia's father asks him to go to an old man, who lives at a distance from here. Then Lavinia's brother leads him there. Ward notices cameras and mics here. Then Lavinia's brother tells him that old man was in fact an electrician. So he likes all of it. After this, they move to that old man's house. Then old man asks, Ward, are you hydrologist? Then, Ward asks while astonishing, how did you know about this? That old man says on it, I keep all the news of this area. Lavinia's brother declares that the water of this place is looking mysterious. So he does not drink the water of this place. Ward says that I send the sample of the food of this place to the laboratory. It stars rain. After this, Lavinia is shown to us. She was taking shower in the rain. It is seen here that meteoroid is attracting the electricity. Then, Lavinia expresses, how beautiful sight is this. Then Lavinia's father also observes, coming there. How does meteoroid is attracting the electricity? Then, Ward is seen who was measuring the water pH. Next morning, Lavinia's parents do not have a look of that meteoroid. Lavinia's mother says on it, thanks God it has disappeared from here. Then social media members also reach there. Then that family watch news at night, that social media also declaring it the unidentified flying object. Lavinia's father is calling his wife outside. But she does not come. Then Lavinia's younger brother goes to call her. At that time, Lavinia's mother had cut her finger off. Then Lavinia's brother immediately calls his father. Then Lavinia's father makes his wife seat in the car while holding her hand. And he says to his elder son, until we come back, take care of your brother and sisters. Next morning, Lavinia is shown. She looks at her younger brother and asks him that, What is he doing? His brother replies on it that, I am talking with someone. But the shocking fact was this, there was no one except her brother. Witnessing it, Lavinia tries her best to contact with her father. But they are unable to contact because of the networking issue. Then, Lavinia, brother encounters a mysterious animal in the garden. Lavinia is searching for her mother's blood-stained knife. Suddenly, she notices that the whole sink has filled with water. And the color of this water is red. Now that sink was overflowing with water. Lavinia begins to vomit, seeing it. Then, Ward comes to her house asking, Are you all right? Lavinia says to them, Go right now, I cannot talk to you at this time. Then, Ward also observes him in the garden. He also asks the same question, What are you doing here? He tells that I am playing along with my friend. But there is no one. Then, Ward goes to that old man's house again. The old man reveals something to Ward here. He tells that aliens live underground. Then that old man hands Ward over a headphone. The mysterious sounds were coming from it. Old man tells that mysterious sounds have been coming from underground for some days. In fact, these voices belong to aliens, who are talking with one another. Then, Ward takes everything trash. So he moves from there. After it, Lavinia's parents are shown. They both were going for their house. Then they witness a very horrible animal in front of them. Its eyes color was bright pink. Afterwards, they return to home, where Lavinia's younger brother was sitting alone outside. And that pink color was also glistening there. Lavinia's mother lifts her younger son from there. Lavinia's father scolds him and his elder brother. How did you leave your younger brother alone? Lavinia's father ties the mountain animals into a room. When Lavinia's father is taking bath there, then he finds a strange jelly there. He takes it strange when he lifts it with his hand. So he throws it away. After this, that jelly is flowed with water after being melted. After it, Lavinia's father is watching TV. And he also observes the same bright pink color. At the same time, he observes that his hand has got infection. It would have happened because of touching that jelly. Lavinia's both brothers are talking with each other, sitting outside. Lavinia is shown again, who was performing ritual again. Her two brothers come into that room, where her father had tied the mountain animals. They notice, going there, that those animals have turned into horrible as compared to previous look. And the pink color begins to emit from them. So Lavinia's both brother begin to run away. Then Lavinia's mother catches her younger son as he is running. Then that light pours on Lavinia's mother and her brother. Due to this, they both are stuck together. At the same time, Lavinia's father says after coming there, we should take them inside. Both mother and son's condition was worsening. So Lavinia's father says to his son that, immediately call the doctor or police, but their call does not connect because of the network issue. When Lavinia's father is starting his car as the morning arrives, it is also not starting. Lavinia is along with her mother and brother. She observes that their condition is turning into critical. And she senses his mother is perhaps segregating her son from her. Then Lavinia's father says to his both kids, coming inside, the car is not starting. Someone perhaps has made its battery out of order. After some time, Lavinia's father kills those mountain animals with his gun. Then they say to his both kids to go downstairs, coming into the house. Then he goes to kill his wife with a gun. But he is unable to act as such. When Lavinia and her brother go to tie their horse at night, then they observe that their dog is barking, so Lavinia's brother goes to get it out from there. Then the pink color light also emits from him. As a result, Lavinia's elder brother has disappeared. Then Lavinia's father takes her to a place and locks her into a room. Then, Ward is seen, who is moving to their house along with police. On the other side, Lavinia's mother and younger brother, they have transformed into a monster there. And they attack Lavinia. So she begins to shout. Ward also hears the shouting sound of her. So the police intrude while breaking the door. After this, Lavinia's father shoots his wife and son, who have transformed into monsters. Lavinia's father moves downstairs, taking her. Now police officers think as Lavinia's father wants to kill her, so police puts Lavinia's father into death while firing their gun. Seeing it, Lavinia begins to cry and she forbids to accompany Ward. Then, Ward says to her, okay, I will come back to accompany you, stay here. Then, Ward moves to that old man's house with police. They witness that old man has died. After some time, that old man's dead body is also begun to blast. The same pink light emits from there. So, Ward and police officer run to the car outside, but a tree pulls the police officer upward. And he is killed. Then, Ward leaves, taking his gun. And he comes back to Lavinia. As he turns to her, then he checks that Lavinia has turned into awkward look, and her eyes color has also turned into pink. So, Ward falls down, moving to backside. Then a pink color emits from Lavinia like a storm. Then, Lavinia is also lost in it. Then, Ward goes to a room, where he notices Lavinia's father who had resurrected again. He was getting ability to utter the voice of his wife, son and Lavinia. After this, he attacks Ward. But Ward flees while recusing his life in some way. He locks himself into a small room. Then much bright pink color emits. And Ward, who was still locked into that room, afterwards, the next morning sight is shown. Ward comes out of the room and everything had turned into white there. Then he checks that there is some supernatural power, which has done it. And the water of this place is not normal. The person dies who drinks this water. Now he is left alone there. He says, I will never drink this water. And the movie ends here. This film was released in 2019. This movie's IMDb rating is 6.2 out of 10. The movie Rotten Tomatoes has 86 fresh or Metacritic 70 and 71 Google users like this film. This movie budget was 6 to 12 million and box office collection 1 million. I hope you will like the film explanation.